Welcome back to this already the final segment of today's Price of Business. I think it was a lot of fun today. I do want to remind you, Rand Paul's rally this afternoon, 3 o'clock. Make sure you check that out. And also wanted to thank our good friends at John Veely Law Firm for being a part of our program as well and helping us bring the Price of Business to you today. Continuing my conversation with American Heritage Education Foundation with Jack Camrath and Angela Camrath. And last segment we talked a little bit about the K-12 program, and now we're going to focus on what's going on the college front. Mike, again, why don't you tee it up for us? I mean, Jack, again, thank you.
Thanks again, Kevin, for having us. What we've learned, and as most people have an awareness of, is a lack of patriotic, factual, objective teaching materials at all levels, K through 12, but also in college. And so what we tried to do was look at that situation, study what the reports and studies, over 12 to 14 studies, national studies on the lack of patriotic teaching materials in colleges. And as a result of that, we started looking at very closely, and my daughter Angela started really researching it and ultimately wrote a book called The Miracle of America, the influence of the Bible on America's founding history and principles and its connection to our Judeo-Christian principles. And it took her about 5 years to do the research. It's been well received by educators all across the country. Major educators at major colleges have heavily endorsed the work. It's the first of its kind that actually documents the connection of the Bible with our founding principles, and we're very proud of that. It's just come out in its second edition, and Angela can talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, when you say patriotic, what do you mean by patriotic? Because, I notice that as time goes by, the left is becoming more and more patriotic to a new patriotism that doesn't look like anything that's American in origin. And our side is becoming, I think, healthy in its criticism of what they're seeing going on. So, I find that word patriot, it's almost a loaded word, patriotism is.
We just go back to really two or three primary principles that are espoused in the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, and also the Great Seal.
Okay. And what's your background, Angela? What brought you to writing this book and your academic background?
Well, I have a background in government, a degree in government. I also have degrees in journalism and education. I have some teaching experience. I taught and worked with students for a number of years, and then came on with AHEF, and I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah, very good. So tell us a little bit about what went into this project. It's exhaustive. It is extremely well documented, and a lot of some of the stuff is so evident, so obvious if you just were able to get something other than secondary sources, which is what almost everyone gets academically, not only from elementary school, which you cannot understand that because it's hard to read stuff that was written in the 18th century, when you're in elementary school, but even continues all the way through undergraduate work in college. It's ridiculous how hard it is to get quality primary sources being taught. And the reason why is because they're really trying to change our history. And they're successfully doing it too.
Yes. Well, what we wanted to do is provide a resource for citizens and also for teachers and other educators, clergy, parents, to give them a tool, a resource to understand America's founding principles and to understand where they came from, to show the connections to the Bible.
Yeah.
The resource actually includes a lot of educational features, so it can be used in a course or a unit of a course. It has a lot of excerpts to historical primary documents, a lot of review questions, critical thinking activities, and a lot more in there. So it would be great for a classroom, secondary, or higher education level. But
when did the book get released?
It came out initially last year, and we just completed a second edition that has just come out this year.
And how many have you got out there yet in terms of sold or distributed?
We don't have an exact number on that. We started last year with very good progress, and we're just continuing to publicize it right now through our organization, and we're going from there. But our hope is to get it out to let schools know about it in Texas and across the nation, as well as, homeschoolers and private citizens.
Mm-hmm. And are you trying to reach colleges directly with this? And if so, what does that look like?
Yes, we actually are. And we have made a large effort to contact professors and colleges, both private and public, to tell them about the resource and the potential to offer a course on this topic, which is really not seen very often in colleges nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In that regard, Kevin, we last summer we had some interns. We have an intern this year working on our database of colleges and department heads and sociology, history, and social studies teachers.
Yeah, and I think obviously, I tell you, it's a tough egg to crack. It really is. The hostility, the open anti-intellectualism. I'm sure you've had to see Expelled, the documentary Expelled, which was about evolution and how closed-minded and lockstep academia is today. Literally firing a professor who is one of the leading astronomers in the world at Baylor University, you would say, of all places, because of him talking about the possibility of design rather than chaos, just chaos theory. And it's just a crazy world. And it really is like pre-Nazi Germany in terms of the academic intellectual environment out there.
Yeah, it is a very challenging field, but it's an extremely important one that has not really been addressed. We've been really happy to receive a lot of positive endorsements on this book, Miracle of America. There are, thankfully, a lot of professors out there that are still supportive of America's founding principles and what we talk about in this book, and have really been favorable to what we're doing. So hopefully through key individuals, we can get the book moving out there and make some inroads into some of these areas.
All right. Our guests today have been Jack Kamrath and Angela Kamrath. And earlier today, we talked to Mike Owens, all of them with American Heritage, and that's AmericanHeritage.org, American Heritage Education Foundation.
Correct.
Yes.
Thanks so much. That's a whole lot of words to talk to you guys. I gotta prune it there. But anyway, enjoyed it very much. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, when we're back, we'll be back again with more after this weekend. I hope you have a great one. I hope you spend it wisely right here on this station.